Hello and welcome everyone. I'm happy to share with you a few new things that arrived after the art haul that I did a few days ago. So I'm going to change my camera view and let's have a little look at some sketchbooks, an art toolkit and a fountain pen. Here we go, changing the scene. Right, where to start? Well, I think one of the things that I will start with is the couple of sketchbooks that I got. And these came from Cass Art. And I think that they were very good value. So let's do the big one first. So this is actually the Cass Art London watercolor paper, 300 GSM, and there's 20 sheets in here, cold pressed, not, so it's got a slight texture, it's acid free, A4 size, and this has got kind of a linen cover to it. And when I open this, I like that. Let's fill this town. Oh, you can't see that bit. Let's fill this town with artists. So I did want to say that this paper, I'm hoping you can hear that, is really rather nice and thick. And I'm just going to have a closer look. It probably won't show on the screen, but it's not one of those grid-like textures. It is quite a random texture on here, but we can test that out in a moment. So this A4 size with 20 sheets in, 300 GSM, this one cost me £16.95, which I didn't think was too bad for such a large substantial sketchbook. And as you all know, I do rather like the ones that have got these the wire bound ones. They can lay flat basically. So we'll have a little try of something in the back, maybe from my Art Toolkit folio set in a moment. Next, which I think, what did this cost? This cost me £13.50. It's A5 and it's Canson, but the paper is Saunders Waterford. So cold pressed white, 300 GSM. Yeah, I think that's roughly what it says. And this has got 40 pages. And you've also got the elastic. So yet again, it's wire bound, and you've got this lovely linen on the front. Yes, and let's just, yes, yet again, this is rather lovely textured paper, and Saunders Waterford, good paper, as we know. So it will be interesting to see the difference between the two, or if there is a difference anyway. So they've called this classic watercolor paper. It's 100% cotton, this one, whereas this one doesn't say that it's 100% cotton. So okay, so we've got two different sketchbooks there that I will try out once I have gone through this with you. So I do already have the smaller one of this, if I can find it. Here we go. So I got these both from Rosemary and Company. This is my little set. As you can tell, dirty in there, dirty in the lid. So I have used this. In fact, when did I last used this when I went out with my friend Paula to Ickworth, which is a national trust in Suffolk. And the way that I used it was with my little Just Go sketching, because these are metal and they fit and don't move. So I could put my A5 sketchbook, in fact it wasn't an A5, I think I had a little square sketchbook that was about 6 by 6 inches. So I know that this one works really, really well. So I decided to invest. Let me just pop that one back in its little bag. Decided to invest in a bigger one, which also came in its lovely bag. Just put it up the right way. And so I have chosen some colours to go in here, and I'm keeping this, which came with it, which sort of says fill your pans with tube paints, allow them to dry overnight, etc. Because it's quite nice and shiny and glossy, and it stops the paints from sticking to an old painting, by the way, my swatch card that I've put in there. So I have got some colours in here, and I thought I would swatch these out properly and see if I can come up with a few mixes using my new sketchbooks. And you can see, and I will try and explain why I've chosen the colours I've chosen. So maybe we will do that next. Before we do, I'll give you a sneak peek, so stay around, because I will be filling this new little ink pen, Mahjong fountain pen that comes with the dropper, so you can fill it directly with ink, but it does also come with some ink cartridges. However, on the back it's got a different name. It says Wonsai fountain pen, and this has got a fine nib on it, so I'm going to be testing that out as well. And I'm also going to have a look and see if the ink cartridge match the universal ones that I've got tons of. I will probably fill it with ink mostly, but we will see. So let's have a little look at, where should we start? Should we start with, let's start with this big one, and we'll just use the back page. I need a pen. Here we go. And the inks are lined up here because I'm not sure which colour I'm going to put in this pen. But I have got, what have I got in here? So we've got green gold by Core. We have got yellow ochre, which is Daniel Smith. So I do have a mixture in here. Aussie red gold is Daniel Smith. It's deep cobalt blue. Which is Michael Harding. Can we fit one more on there? Yes. What is that one? That one is Raw Umber. And that was also Michael Harding. Raw Umber. Right. Let's go down here, because I've got two of the same there. Well, actually, no, let's do that one next. Van Dyke Brown. which is Michael Harding. Then we've got Green Gold by Daniel Smith. Now, I know you're thinking, Michelle, you've already got green gold, but the green golds do come out quite differently. I need to move this over. Let's move it over. Right, what else have we got? Quinacridone gold, okay. And whose is that? That is Daniel Smith. We've got cochineal, which I've spelt wrong, but never mind. And that one is Schminke. And then we have got Earth of Cyprus. Michael Harding. Moving on down, we've got Hansa Yellow Medium. That one's Daniel Smith. Jadeite Green. Daniel Smith. Cascade Green. Daniel Smith. Bright Green Lake. And that one is a Michael Harding. And then Peroline Green, which is also Michael Harding. Then we've got Buff Titanium, which is a Van Gogh. Cobalt Teal, which is Michael Harding. And Payne's Grey, also Michael Harding. So those are all the colours that I have. Some of them you'll notice I've put two of. So I've got two of the Hansa Yellow Mediums. I've got two of the Van Dyke Browns because I think I would use that more often. And I've got two of the Deep Cobalt Blues. Let's get some water. And a brush. And get swatching then. So let's start with our Green Gold by Core. Our Yellow Ochre, which is Daniel Smith. Aussie Red Gold. Oh, I do love this colour, which is also Daniel Smith. Deep Cobalt Blue. Another real favourite of mine. This one's Michael Harding. And we've got Raw Umber. This is also Michael Harding. Van Dyke Brown. Also Michael Harding. So I got this instead of sepia. I've been using sepia quite a lot, but I thought that for a change I would use Van Dyke Brown. Now let's go on to the other green gold, which is the Daniel Smith one. And I think you'll see there is a difference here between the core green gold and the Daniel Smith green gold, which is why I've got both of them in there. Then we've got quinacridone gold, which I know is looking quite similar to Aussie red gold, but good colours. We've got the cochineal, which is from Schminker. This was from their vintage set. That's a stunning colour. And then we've got Earth of Cyprus. I'll pop you in there. That's Michael Harding. So this is a much redder brown compared to the Van Dyke brown. So now I'm moving on to this sort of bigger row down here. And I did leave these for more than one night because I wanted them to be properly dry. So there is our Hunter Yellow Medium. We've got the lovely Jadeite Green. And Cascade Green, both Daniel Smith. We've got the Bright Green Lake, which I absolutely adore, from Michael Harding. And then the Peridine Green. So this is quite heavy on its greens because I do more landscapes than anything else. So I think you'll see that there's sort of browns and ochres and greens. What have we got next? Buff Titanium. I'd run out of my Michael Harding and my Daniel Smith. So I managed to find this, which is the Van Gogh. So I'm going to be using that up. Then we've got Cobalt Teal, a colour I cannot do without. This is Michael Harding's, and I love it. And finally, Payne's Grey, which is also Michael Harding's. So those are the colours that I've got in this folio palette. And there's lots of mixing area. I think this one's going to be a bit more versatile than the smaller one. But the smaller one is great if I just want it to go in a handbag, to be honest. So there we go. That's what I've got in that one. We will let them dry. I'll tell you what, let's actually, while we're here, let's just try a few mixes, because we might as well. So let's try mixing the Cobalt, Blue, and we'll mix that with the Earth of Cyprus. And I want to see, yeah, so I get quite a nice neutral, which I know kind of looks a bit like the Van Dyke Brown, but when this dries, because it's got the cobalt in it, which is granulating, it will look quite different, really. So let's take this yellow ochre then. And mix it with a bit of the cochineal. And I think that's going to give me, yes, quite a nice red. So this is a very pinky red. When this dries, you'll be able to see that that's more of a red. And I quite like mixing the Payne's Grey. Where is it? There it is. So let's mix a bit of Payne's Grey with the buff titanium to get really a quite nice. If I need a lighter grey than my Payne's Grey. So that's given me another brown, that's given me a red, that's given me a grey that I didn't have. If I want a slightly different green to the greens that are ready-made, I suppose, then let's try mixing cobalt blue with the Hansa yellow medium. So let's grab a bit of that and a bit of the Hansa yellow medium, and that then should give me more of a kind of, yes it does, more of a kind of sap green colour, which is a completely different green to any of the other greens that I've got up there. If I mix the cochineal with the buff titanium good mixing colour, then I can get a pink. Which I don't have. And if I add a little bit of the Aussie Red Gold to that pink, then I can get a peachy colour. So if I do want to do some florals, I can. I haven't got a purple, so let's mix a purple. We've got our cobalt blue, and we'll try mixing that with our cochineal. Okay, there we go. That's a kind of reddy purple. If I add a bit more of the cobalt blue to it though, then we will get more of a cooler bluey purple. So, are there any other colours I'm kind of missing on here? Not sure that there are. I think that's a real lovely mix of colours. So, probably need for that to dry. Find a cloth for my brush. I will bring it up, but some of it is still wet. But I think you'll agree that I've got quite a lovely mix of colours there. If I want to darken anything, I can add the Payne's Grey, a little bit of Payne's Grey to it. And I've got my buff titanium to lighten any of these colours. So I'm quite happy with that as a choice. I think that's brilliant. Yeah, and I always go for plenty of greens on my palette because, yep, mostly landscape means using lots of greens. And there's 1, 2, 3 browns plus my yellow ochre, and I can darken any of those, or I can lighten them with the buff titanium as well. So good mixture, I think. What do you think? Do you quite like this as an idea for a palette? how many colours have I got? We've got 5, 10, 15, 16, I've got 18 colours here in a very, very small, handy size, palm size palette with plenty of mixing space. So there we go. That's that one, and when it's dry we will also be able to see how well the paper performs, but I think that's looking pretty nifty for something that wasn't too expensive. So I'll leave that to dry for a minute. I just want to go in the back of this Canson one, which is Saunders Waterford paper, and we'll use the same paints, but I'm not going to label them up. I'm just going to use it as like a test page, if you will. So let's just use some of these up that are on my palette here, just to see how it performs, basically. And then we'll just take a few that aren't on the palette. Let's go for Cascade Green, because that does nice things, doesn't it? Okay, so we will leave that to dry, and then we'll have two different sketchbooks to compare with. And we will move on to the bit that I've been waiting for, which is this little, get it out, there we go, this tiny, look, it's not much bigger than my middle finger. So the lid unscrews, and you can then screw that onto the top here. Do it properly with the right hand, Michelle. There we go. So you've then got a longer pen, and you've got like a little silicone seal going around there, and I'm guessing that that's where, take the lid back off again, this is the where we put the ink in. So does it stand on its own? No. So we've got this dropper. We can get this one out. There we go. Right, I have all these inks lined up. I've got, these are all Rohrer and Klingner. So I've got Emma, which is a green colour. I've got Taya, which is a browny grey. Then there's Carmen, which is like an orange. We've got Julie, which is like a very deep maroon. And we've got Marlene, which is a bright blue. So I have to decide what I'm going to put in here. What's going to be the most useful initially? I wonder whether to just play safe. I think I'm going to play safe with the Thea, or Thea. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. The Rohrer and Klingner are, once they're dry, they are waterproof, which means that you can use them in ink and wash without worrying that, you know, they're going to leak and spread. So let's squirt this in then. Oh, there wasn't a lot that, oh, I've dribbled. It's about right for me. I'm not that impressed with this. I suppose it is filling it up, but it's taking a little bit of time, and it kind of, I'm not that sure if you can see, but it kind of dribbles out. Oh well. We'll do our best here. Let's go one more. Okay. Now I'm just gonna rinse that out a little bit in my water. And so we need to get that bit back on there. Make sure it's on tightly, I guess. Right. Tissue at the ready because I made a mess. Okay. Lid back on to be safe, so as I don't spill it everywhere. Oh. And that has gone dribbled everywhere a bit, hasn't it? Put that on the tissue as well. Right, so let's screw our lid on the other end there. I'm just going to wipe my hands. Why is it you always get in such a mess with ink? However hard you try. Never mind. There we go. Right, so this was my receipt for my sketchbooks. So I'll just use this. Oh. Maybe we need it to stand for a minute to let it flow down the nib. It didn't actually come with any instructions, so let's hope I've done it right. Oh, here we go. It's working. There we go. You can see that is a sort of a grey brown colour, but I'm thinking that might be good for, you know, sketching things. Yeah, we can do little sketches. Now, how does that work over the watercolour paper? Let's go back to our sketchbook here. Wow, it works quite nicely on just ordinary paper, but this is watercolour paper. We'll try the other one. I mean, it's a fine nib, so we're not going to get hugely different markings thickness wise, but oh, still got loads of ink all over my hand, haven't I? Let's just get you off. At least I hope that was my hand and not the pen leaking. Let us grab a tissue and just make sure that there's nothing coming off. Nope, nope, it's all good. Says she, dropping the lid. So it's not leaking anywhere. And when I do it up, it's that size. I'm thrilled to bits with that. I got mine from, yeah, I've still got ink all over my hands, haven't I? That isn't helping. I got mine from Amazon. So if any of you are interested, I will put a link to this. I was watching several other YouTubers to see if I could, you know, just double check that you don't need to put a converter or something in there. But no, it does seem that because it's got that little silicone bit on it, you can change it to just putting your ink in the barrel there. I mean, isn't that a lot easier than those tiny little ink converters? So I'm actually really pleased with that. I think that's quite a nice buy. I also found out that if you buy some silicone, then, and I have several of these Kaweco Sports, if you buy some silicone and you pop the silicone around this seal here, then apparently you can just fill the Kaweco, but I don't think you would get much ink in there. Anyway, that's what they were saying, just the Kaweco Sport anyway. So yeah, let me know if you've done that before. I've just actually cleaned all of mine, and so this one has got, let's see what ink this one's got in. So this is actually the green, so that's got Emma in it. This one I think has just got, no, that one has got Jewel, is it? Yes, Jewel. And then this green one, what have you got in it? This has got the green in it, so that's got Emma in it. And this one, that's got the blue in it, so that's Marlene. So I do already have these Kaweco Sports that have got different coloured inks in them. And I think there's one more that I've got. This is my large Kaweco. And I have a feeling, oh, that one's not working. I need to clean that one out by the looks of it. Oh. No. So we'll leave you there. it'll be interesting for me to compare with this new Mahjong one. I'm trying to think. My other ink pens that I really love, for those of you that are interested, this was a really cheap one from Amazon, but this isn't waterproof ink. It just takes normal little cartridges. Oh, that's what I was going to check, wasn't I? This is my Lamy. Is this my Lamy? Yes, this is my Lamy, but this has got cartridge in it as well that is not waterproof. This is my Rotring, and this has cartridges that are not waterproof. You've all seen me using my carbon ink pen, my platinum carbon ink pen. That is waterproof. And then my Fude. And the good thing about the Fude is that you can go very fine with it. And you can actually go very dark with it and in between. So that's filled with carbon ink, so it's not water soluble, it's waterproof. So I've got quite a few ink pens, including the new little one that I bought, which was the Papermate, which works beautifully. I wonder if, because I've ordered some of this silicone. Ooh. Now I wonder if I put some silicone around here, whether I could fill that one up with ink as well, instead of ink cartridges, because I've got all this lovely ink sat here, and it would be nice to be able to use it a bit more, knowing that this is waterproof. So I am going to be double checking, and I might test that out, using that silicone when it arrives. Okay, so these are the Mahjong. Where does this one open? Here. Right, Mahjong in my right hand and Universal ink cartridge in the other. Yep. I reckon they're going to fit. Any Universal one will fit. So if you don't want waterproof ink and you just want an ink pen, then I think and you could use that to keep a few in, couldn't you? This is a really cheap way. These weren't very much at all. These ink cartridges from Amazon. They're the small size universal standard ink ones that you can usually only get them in blue or black. But they will obviously fit in this pen here, and you could keep your cartridges in there. So I need to go and wash this dropper out properly, but actually it's washing out in my water quite nicely. There we go. Yeah, not quite clean, but I'll clean it a bit more in a bit. So what do I think of the two sketchbooks then? There is a little bit of buckling on that Saunders Waterford. Right, let's bring these two back and move these out of the way, because then there'll be a little bit more room and we can maybe look at them like so. Well, you can still see all of the nice You can see the nice granulation on the Canson A5 that's got Saunders Waterford in it. But to be fair, you can still see it on this, which was just the Cass Art one as well. Do they feel that much different? Let's grab one of each. Oh, maybe I'm just not a connoisseur, but I'm not sure that I can tell the difference that much. Even down to feeling the texture. Maybe there is slightly more texture on the Canson, on the Saunders Waterford, sorry, this one, the smaller one. But I don't think that they really, I don't think that they react particularly different from one to the other. Well, let me know. What do you think? I don't think there's much difference. Yeah, if I put them up side by side. Okay, well, that being said, I think that both this as an A4 size is a really good buy. And I think the thing that makes this quite nice is that it does have this big, done that the wrong way around, have I? Yep. Big elastic band for an A5 that is rather nice. So I'm very pleased with all of my purchases. Yeah, what fun today, having something new to play with. So let me know, would you pick those colours in a limited palette? Which of the sketchbooks do you think you would prefer? And what do you think of this dinky fountain pen that you don't have to have a converter or a cartridge for? Wow. Well, there we go. I think I've got a book review coming up soon, so that's probably what I will record next. Other than that, obviously, there is our regular Paint Calm on a Friday. So take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay calm until I see you next time. Bye for now.